News dump. Got a trailer for Oppenheimer, and this shows a little more depth than what I was expecting.
Yes, you're right. I thought I really liked this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing. So first of all, maybe it's just
Einstein. First off, Einstein.
maybe because we're cinephiles.
Yeah.
If you tell me Christopher Nolan's making a movie, I'm going to see it. I honestly don't need a fucking trailer for this movie. Just give me the premise and I'm in. It looks like we're going to be getting Nolan always plays with time in his movies.
Mm-hmm.
We have black and white featured in this trailer, which looks to be like it might be a time after the atomic bomb. We're obviously going to get build up towards the atomic bomb. And I wonder if the countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, I wonder if that's going to play into the runtime. It's going to be a good movie, but I will freely admit this is the Nolan movie I'm least excited to see. Like,
yeah, and I'm really
going
excited.
into all of his movies, this is lowest in terms of excitement meter.
Yeah, and when it comes to like Cillian Murphy there, I'm more interested in him, thinking about what he's done, what he's unleashed on the world.
Yeah, but that's a different movie too. That's not a Nolan movie.
It seems like that's going to be the latter half of the movie.
Yeah, but is that interesting?
I think it is interesting, yes.
On a personal level, it's interesting. Is it interesting in a Christopher Nolan movie? I'm not so sure.
So I think what they might do with it, and you just said play with time, I wouldn't be surprised if there is this countdown throughout this entire movie and it's jumping back to him creating it and then him, dealing with the repercussions and then jumping back to him creating it, dealing with the and like going back and forth that way so that you aren't getting just one or the other at the beginning and the end.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. It's just like Christopher Nolan is like trying to sell this movie to us too, which is like a really weird feeling. It seems like that's something that's beneath him since he sort of shits on people for doing stuff like that. So I don't know. I have a weird feeling this movie's not going to be good. I hope it is. I have an inkling that it may not be good.
He is selling it to us as Oppenheimer is the most important man in the history of the world.
Right. Which is like, all right, come on, man.
Well, I'm interested. You got my ears and eyes. News dump. Oh, we also got a trailer for The Meg 2, The Trench. And hey, you're saying, how do you top The Meg 1? More Megs.
2 Megs, 2 Trench.
3 Megs, Mac.
Yeah.
Can you
lots
count?
Of Megs in there.
3 fins.
I don't even think I watched the trailer to the first Meg. Never saw the first Meg. But I've got to admit, this movie looks like it might be fun. Mm-hmm. It might be fun. We saw multiple Megs. We saw a Kraken goo. So they're expanding the monster universe within the Meg.
Just like how they expanded the NHL.
Yeah. Expanding the Megaverse. And I probably won't see this in the theaters, but I probably will watch this on streaming. And I didn't watch the first one and probably won't watch the first one. Did you? Because
they also made a point of saying, like, we don't know how many more Megs there are.
Yeah,
Megs.
I was surprised at how often I was like, in this trailer.
Also, I think the thing that gets me the most excited is one of my favorite podcasts, one of my favorite episodes of my favorite podcast of How Did This Get Made is from the first Meg, and they have Nicole Byer and Adam Scott on for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a half an hour span where Jason Mantzoukas and Nicole Byer go back and forth, and it might be the funniest half an hour I've ever heard.
Did you watch the first movie?
I've seen bits and pieces.
I mean, we get Jason Statham, so we can have Davey do his impression if he wants.
Well, good for that, I guess. News dump. Also got a new TV spot for The Flash because it comes out in 1 month.
Yep, a month away. We got some new dialogue here. An increasing focus on Barry's mom, which is, not to
Barry's mom got it going
That's not unexpected. They also released a few stills from the movie today. Man, I really don't want this movie to be good. The more I'm thinking about it, I hope it sucks.
You are just a negative Nancy.
Like, it's probably going to be good, but I hope it sucks. I hope this movie bombs.
I am almost at 100% sure that it's going to blow your tits off.
I can guarantee you it won't blow my tits off, but I ultimately, like, I keep coming back to the fact, it's not even an opinion, that the movie is meaningless, Goo. The
You're
universe is
meaningless.
already dead. It's already
You're
going to
dead.
be reset.
You're
They
reset.
don't need this movie. And so I worry that they're just going to pull out all the stops here, left and right, and
cool
it's
with.
really going to fall flat.
So after we see the screening or however we see this movie, I'm going to have my phone out and we're just going to see from your collarbone to your tummy, flat. No tits. News dip. Speaking of the Flash, speaking of DC, the new DC, James Gunn, we have some rumors. A rumor has it to who might be in the new Superman movie.
Yeah, the internet is abuzz the last few days about a fella named David Cornsweet, who I've never heard of, never seen him in anything. He's a relative unknown. He's been in a couple things the last couple years, so some people might recognize him. I actually think it's a good thing he's a relative unknown.
That's how I want it. Yep.
I want a clean slate here. I don't want any expectations.
I want a Hugh Jackman. I want a Tom Holland.
Right. That sort of stuff. There's also a rumor that Nicholas Hoult might be casting this movie, or that maybe he's going for Superman.
So the rumor is I've seen Lex Luthor, but I've also seen Superman. And I do like Nicholas Hoult, but I would rather have the unknown.
For the villain, I don't mind them being more of a known.
Right, no, I'm saying for Superman, though.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. And then, Goo, we got some leaks on sort of the final running for Lois Lane. Rachel Brosnahan, who's pretty well. All of these are
Miss Maisel. Yeah,
half of these are pretty well known. Emma Mackey, I don't know where she's from. I don't know her name. Sounds familiar though.
Yeah.
Phoebe,
like your name.
Phoebe Denever. I don't know who she is. Samara Weaving would be interesting because she's like a skinny blonde, and I'd wonder how she would work as Lois. Obviously, you could dye the hair, but she doesn't strike me as a Lois. Brosnahan seems like she would be a good Lois. I'm not going to lie.
So Brosnahan actually just spoke to THR, and she's like, "This is a really interesting thing for me." So she's
going for it.
She's into it.
She's going for it.
Because James Gunn would not confirm nor deny, and he said that he never tells anyone about casting unless the actors want someone to know.
Sure. I get that. And I also feel like with Gunn at the helm now, if you're signing up for this role, you're signing up for like 10 movies. Yeah. So your heart's really got to be into it. You really got to be sort of a comic book fan, Superman fan, Lois fan. Brosnahan would be an interesting casting because she would bring the star power to the movie more so than Cornsweet would. Which
sense of humor too.
Yeah, I think it could work well. So that's encouraging. And I think we'll probably know this because I'm pretty sure the movie's supposed to start shooting in January. I'm pretty sure we're going to know who these actors are within the next month or so.
News dip. Speaking of James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 60 million more at the box office and only dropped 49%, which is the third best of any MCU movie. So that's out of 30 plus movies, just behind Black Panther and Ragnarok. So word of mouth, very good on this movie, not a 70% drop off like they've had recently.
What I'm kind of picking up on here too is I've had a couple friends who are fans of the MCU Guardians, and they said that their wives actually also really like the Guardians and the Guardians movies.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's appealing to a wider audience, more than just MCU fans.
Yes,
and I think this movie actually plays up to that too, which we talked about. It's a pretty self-contained movie. It's a finale for the Guardians crew that we knew and loved. So you don't really need to know much about the rest of the MCU to go and see this movie.
I think it also might have had a bit of some people are like, I'm kind of out on the MCU right now. And then they saw the reviews and they said, okay, I'll go and see this.
I'll jump back in. Yep, for sure.
And Max, speaking of the Guardians, news dip. I don't know why I just said that, but here we go. Oh, it's because I have a nice little topic here. The Guardians press tour. Everything on social media, everything with, the YouTube rounds. I love this cast and everything with James Gunn talking, doing social media. I've loved all of this. I don't think I've enjoyed the press rounds as much since maybe the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I'm just laughing at how confused you made yourself.
I skipped the topic by accident.
Yeah. No, it's been a lot of Gunn and Chris Pratt. And then Karen Gillan and Palm Clementif doing
Yep.
shit.
And then what's his name? The English guy and the evolutionary.
Yeah, them.
They've all been pairing off.
Will Poulter and
Yes.
Chickwoody, something like that.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it seems like part of the reason why they've enjoyed doing this is because they know it's like the last hurrah, so they're really wanting to get people out there and really talking nice about their journey through the 3 movies. And James Gunn is just, he's not this Christopher Nolan type director who's kind of uppity and looks down upon the way people might take in movies, view movies. Gunn is like an open book.
Yes.
He's pretty blunt when asked, questions. He'll give honest answers. He's very active on social media. He's like the people's director. He's the people's champ, and I think after he was fired and came back, I think people really got behind him because I think that's just something that's easy to get behind. So as much as I shit on DC now, I'm fully in on the next iteration of the DCU. I want James Gunn to crush it.
3 things here. Yes, 3 things here, Mac. Number 1, he shared an action scene, a kind of like a run through on both Instagram and Twitter, and it really just shows you the movie magic.
Right.
Also, that Chris Pratt, pretty good at stunts.
Yeah, I mean, he went from being a fat bastard to sculpted, so you probably should be good at like athletic movements.
Then also, he just shared on Instagram a story saying that when they hired Bradley Cooper, a Disney exec and a Marvel exec said to him, "Why would you hire Bradley Cooper if he's not going to do Bradley Cooper's voice?" And James Gunn said, "Because we're creating a character."
We talked about this a week or 2 ago, though. I still find it incredibly interesting that Cooper barely does any press for this movie. Vin Diesel does a little bit, but the 2 voice actors are like nowhere to be found.
Actually, if you watch any of Bradley Cooper's stuff for this movie, it's really uncomfortable. Like, he doesn't want to talk about it.
It makes no sense. I don't understand why he just refuses to promote the movie. The movie's about his character.
Final thing here, and now I'm blanking. Oh, it was the fill in the blank. Maybe Wired does it. It's like the Google fill in the blank, and it was James Gunn and his brother Sean Gunn, and the question was, who are James Gunn's biggest influences? And he said, every movie I watch.
It's honestly the best answer you could give. Because obviously you have like your fundamental, your foundational stuff that you watched when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, but then he did, give like 7 or 8 that he absolutely loved, and he was a big fan of Japanese cinema.
Yeah, that makes sense too. That's the right answer too, because it sort of plays into what I was just talking about as the people's champ here. He watches a lot of stuff, both high art, lowbrow stuff, and he's not opposed to learning from any single property, and I think that's what makes him such a good writer and such a good director.
And that ends our "We Love James Gunn" segment. News dump. Before I get to this next topic, I also want to point out that Super Mario Bros. Is now available. If it is May 16th, when you are listening to this, it is available to be purchased on stream.
Heyo.
Hey, Mac, you hear about this? You see this? Fast X is reportedly part 1 of a 3-part finale.
Yeah, so speaking of the 3 points you just brought up here, Fast X had the same idea. Instead of Fast 10, 11, and 12, we're going to get Fast 10, part 1, part 2, and part 3. Why would you draw the line here? And
that's what I said. Do 10 parts. It'd be sick.
And if you were going to get to 13, there's a Friday the 13th crossover there that writes itself. So I don't understand why you prevent yourself from getting there.
How old are they going to be while these are still going on?
Why do they still want to make these movies good?
They make money, dude.
There was actually a really
Vin Diesel's legacy.
There was a really great internet thread going on this past week about the moment that the Fast universe sort of jumped the shark, or you were out on the Fast universe. For me, it was just them making so many movies. I think I stopped watching after Tokyo Drift. I think that was the 3rd one, I want to say. I never watched another one. Now, I've seen bits and pieces of stuff on cable television and on the internet. I was just like, I don't think I can follow this journey. I think I'm done with these car racing movies.
So the person that posted that put the video of The Rock breaking his cast
Yeah.
when he broke his arm, and I'm like, that's the best part of that movie. What are
A
you
lot of
talking
people
about?
also mentioned when the Rock bicep curled a helicopter a la Captain
To be
America.
fair, Captain America also did that, and we thought it was sweet in that movie.
Yeah, but that's a soup, not just a regular guy who
Oh,
drives a
The Rock is
vehicle.
pretty fucking cool, dude. There's still Beetlejuice?
Ooh, I like what you did with that one. Good.
Everyone else is going Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, which is also a sweet title, but I'm going to zig while y'all zag. Beetlejuice, we have some casting, and Jenna Ortega is going to play right into that typecast and say, sure, I'm Winona Ryder's daughter, and Willem Dafoe as a law enforcement officer in the afterlife.
I like that. I really
like it
like
a
that
lot.
idea. Big fan of that.
Yeah.
I think Jenna Ortega after this movie is going to take a step back and reevaluate what she wants her career to be. Does she want to do a bunch of these movies in the next 5 years and then never do anything again because she's been typecast? Or would she like to become a real actress at some point?
Was I talking to you when you used the example of Aubrey Plaza, who's broken out of this type of typecasting?
Yeah, so I think that's a little different though, only because it was one character for a long time as
Yeah.
opposed to like 7 similar characters.
Yeah.
But that's what she should be looking to if she wants to break the mold.
She should do a comedy. Although Beetlejuice will be a comedy, but it'll be a gothy comedy.
A comedy.
A comedy. That's what I was trying to.
Gothmedy.
I didn't know what to say. Thank you for filling in the fucking words for me,
Gothic.
dude. Stop. But I'm excited about this movie, kinda, but it's too far. It's 40 years down the line.
It is not gonna be a warm porridge. It's either gonna be hot or cold. Nothing in between.
Perfect. Yeah. But they might play into the perfect amount of nostalgia for me. And that's how
Yeah.
you hook me.
Well, to see you this excited about the Flash movie in Keaton means I know that you're not excited now, but like 6 months before that movie, the first trailer for that movie,
The
you're gonna
first
cream your
trailer and the
jeans.
first time I see Keaton as Beetlejuice again,
Yeah.
boing.
All bets are off.
News up. Speaking of making a sequel way too far after the movie has come out, Christopher Lloyd is open to making another Back to the Future, saying, well, I think, what's his name there? Zemeckis and Spielberg, they just wanted to tell a 3-part story. But if someone had an interesting story to tell with these characters once again, I'd be in. And then when someone asked Michael J. Fox about this, his exact words are, do what you want. It's your movie. I got paid already.
I don't know why Doc Brown is like fiending for a new movie.
I've heard this Christopher Lloyd at the age of 146.
Yeah. On top of it, your star can no longer star in movies. So you'd have to introduce new characters and get us to buy in. And that's after a third movie.
And don't CGI him in there, you sons of bitches.
Right. Like if you think to like Ghostbusters Afterlife, that's sort of the blueprint you would try to look for. But I also didn't love that movie. Like I don't think there's a great version of that movie. And I don't think there's a great version of a Back to the Future 4.
Especially with a Doc Brown that is currently 214. News down. A trailer for The Bear Season 2.
So this is a show that a lot of people loved from last year. I ended up watching it about 2 months ago, a month ago. Pretty quick watch. I think it was 8 episodes. They're only about 30 minutes each. The highs of the season were really good. Really funny at times, dramatic at times. But by the end of the season, I was like kind of done with the show. It didn't really deliver on what I felt. Well, first of all, I going into it, and this is part of the reason why I didn't watch it. I didn't feel like the show had much promise. After the first episode, I was like, I get it. I don't know like where this would lead to for me to be like goat show sort of stuff. It's a fun little show. I just like by the end of the season, I was kind of uninterested by what was going to happen. I don't know. It's like Jeremy Allen White, the main actor, the kid from Shameless, is great. There's 1 or 2 other great characters in there, but for the most part, it's a lot of characters. And most of them I don't care about. So it's hard for me to buy into the show.
Were you just disappointed there wasn't a real bear on the show?
No, there is a real bear in the first episode, but it's more of like a dream sequence sort of thing. You haven't watched the show, right?
I'll eventually see it.
So the premise is Jeremy Allen White's brother commits suicide, and he owned a restaurant. Jeremy
I already
Allen
know
White
this, but yeah, go ahead.
takes it over.
Yeah.
And so there's like some inherent drama built in with that. There's some decent like dark comedy. I just don't think it did enough of the dark comedy. Like it was too scattered throughout. I wanted it to be more consistently funny, and it just wasn't. And looks like season 2 is going in a completely different direction, and it's going to be more upbeat. And I think the only thing that makes the show different is like how dark it sort of could get. So I don't think I'm in on this show. I think I've watched season 1. I enjoyed it. I don't think I'll watch season 2.
News up. Also got a trailer for Silo on Apple TV Plus.
No, this is a real show that's out right now.
Oh,
this is the one that I texted the other day to you, Keith, and Davey. A lot of the internet was loving this show, and I figured the whole show was out already. Turns out there's only 3 episodes out right now on Apple TV Plus, weekly release on Fridays, I believe. Premise of the show, Goo, is a bit Severance-like, where it's like kind of an alternate universe, a bit dystopian, kind of sci-fi-ish type stuff. Great cast of this show. If Severance was all like your speed, I'm talking to in general now. Watch the first episode, and I think it'll hook you. So I think I've watched 2 of the first 3 episodes. I'm totally in on the premise of the show. So I'm really intrigued to see where this goes.
News dump.